further ado, I would love to introduce to you Vivien Sansour, who some of you know. Some of you have visited the farms in Palestine that she's so beautifully portrayed in her photographs. For those of you who haven't had the privilege of doing that, you can visit them through her photographs. She's going to talk a little bit about this project, and also she'd be happy to answer some questions. Vivien, thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's really exciting to be here, and thank you so much all for coming. I know some people even came from very far away, so I appreciate it. And I hope that through these photographs, that so far away was also a little bit closer, that you were able to at least get an idea of how beautiful Palestine is. Photography sort of just happened to me. I never thought of myself as a photographer. But I was very privileged a couple of years ago when Nasser Abu Farha, who is the founder of Canaan Fair Trade, the products you see outside, asked me to come home and live with the farmers and the producers in Jenin area, in Nablus district as well, and write about the story of the people who produce olive oil and other different products that you taste out here. And it was really exciting for me because it has always been part of kind of my belief that agriculture is really a big and important part of our culture and also our story as Palestinians, but also that agriculture is a significant part of resistance. Why? Because, for example, we now, as many of you I'm sure know, most of our agricultural land has been confiscated for the building of the wall. Also, we no longer have access to as much water as we used to. So actually, being able to produce our own food has become quite a challenge. And a community that cannot produce its own food is a community that is dependent and powerless. And this whole thing really started when I went home a few years ago, and I had not been home for 5 years, and I was really shocked to see that the things I missed, the fresh food that we used to eat, was no longer available, that we are eating agribusiness products that are really unhealthy. And so anyway, so it was very exciting to go back and to work with people who we don't think of them as activists, but they are really, just by the simple fact of cultivating their land, they are preserving for us, not for us only in Palestine, the land, but also globally. As we know, everybody's trying to go back to what is now here popular, organic, environmentally friendly. In fact, in Palestine, we have something to offer the world, which is an ancient practice of harvesting, cultivation that is very, very caring of the environment and is very much based on the reciprocity between the farmer, the producer, and the land. And this has been really also important for us because as, in a context of military occupation, lots of NGO work that, NGOs do great work, but creating the people's sense of self-worth has in some way deteriorated, where people stopped feeling that they are producers, but rather that they are just dependent. So this project for us was very important, that as we regenerate our soil, we're also regenerating our own sense of self-worth as a community, because we actually have a lot to offer, not just receive. So anyway, these photos are a product of 2 years that I lived in the villages, and the people were extremely nice and generous, because I would spend days with them, and they would allow me to zoom in on their faces and go into their homes and cook with them. And I learned so much, even though I'm Palestinian and I grew up in Palestine. Every day I learned something new about how how rich really the culture is, and how so many of the knowledge they have is really much more important than any education I ever got in college. I really can't speak about the people in this book, for example, enough, because they've become part of my bigger family. But basically, when you buy the bottle of olive oil outside, you can also learn about where it comes from. And Canaan Fair Trade now is working on, we already know like exactly which oil comes from where, but you can go, if you don't get this book, but you can go online. All the stories I did of 24 farmers and women producers are available online at canaanfairtrade.com. And also, I just a few months ago just finished a series about different producer communities. So you can learn about the villages, what they do, and the community in general. So I don't want to take much time, but I want to open it for questions for you. But I hope that, well, first that you will come and visit Palestine, and also that you will, through the beauty of and the pleasure of eating and tasting these foods, or hopefully seeing these pictures, that all your senses will be ignited and you'll be inspired to learn more.
Can you tell us more about